This is a team that will be on the ground. This is a team that will voice that will echo the voice of the voiceless, that will fight for the inherent and inalienable interests and rights of Kenyan citizens everywhere, wherever they are, in all the 8 regions. This is a team that comprises of youthful leadership, the generational change. And the team here, we have Mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi, all the way representing the Western region and the youth in the country, all the way from Saboti constituency. We have Mheshimiwa Wamuchomba representing the Central region. We have Mheshimiwa Charles Nguna, CNN, representing the Eastern region. We have Mheshimiwa Amos Mwago, representing from Starehe constituency, representing Nairobi and the youth in the nation. We have Mheshimiwa Catherine Omanyo, all the way from Busia, the Busia women representative, representing Western region and also the youth in this nation. And we have also our leader, Mheshimiwa Mwenje, who is also from Nairobi, Embakasi West constituency, and also representing Nairobi and the interest of the youth in this nation. And we have myself representing also Nairobi and the youth in this nation. And therefore, we have issues that we will be addressing from time to time. And this is the team that is going to give direction in this country, because we have seen there's a little bit of laxity in opposition. And therefore, this team will take its rightful place to ensure that the interest of Kenyans, very objectively, are fought for. Not limited to holding rallies to discuss the plight and the issues affecting Kenyans. Not limited to calling for maandamanos, regional maandamanos in every county, in every constituency, in every ward. And these maandamanos will better be imagined than experienced. And today we are here to talk about various issues. After that, we will be telling you a timetable on how we'll be moving as members of the press, because we want you to be part of us. The first issue that we want to talk about is the issue of health. Mheshimiwa Wamuchomba has talked about the issue of fertilizers and the plight of farmers in various parts of this country. All the members of parliament here will talk about different issues. I want to talk about the issue of the health crisis. Right now, doctors are striking, and this is their 14th day into their strike. We don't want the government to relax, to let the doctors strike for over 100 days that happened between the year 2016 and 2017. There was a CBA, a collective bargain agreement, that was signed between the government and the doctors. And it entailed, number one, that the doctors be paid their arrears owned by the government. Up to now, the doctors in this country are owned some money by the government. Number two, that the interns be deployed. For the past 1 year, doctors who have trained, taken 6 years to train, and every year a doctor is trained with an average of around 600,000 Kenya shillings, which comes to around 3.6 million Kenya shillings. Then, after finishing your degree, you are not deployed anywhere. That is so wrong, and this is the first time this government, Ruto's government, is doing this. Number three, that the interns who have been deployed, who are employed already, the government has decided to deduct 91% of their salaries. We want the government to move with speed and pay these doctors these amounts of money. President Ruto, instead of moving around in this country, should sit down, because what is so important and urgent is the interest of Kenyans. And these Kenyans who are in hospital are dying. The patients who are in hospital are not getting proper medical care. Why? Because of the strike caused by the doctors. Therefore, the president should not assign this duty to even the CS, Cabinet Secretary for Health, who has proven to be very incompetent. Very incompetent, talking in rallies anyhow, talking in funerals. And we want that CS to step aside, and we will bring an impeachment motion against the CS for Health. We want the president himself to call for a meeting with KMPDU, the leaders who are representing the interest of doctors in this country, and resolve this crisis within a week. Failure to which we will announce our next course of action. We will call the media and announce the next course of action, because our people are dying in hospitals. Imagine patients who are being taken to hospitals. Imagine Kenyans who are being taken to hospitals. They can't get any access to any doctor to help them with their various ailments. Therefore, we demand, we don't want to request. Ruto, you said you can do this work. Right now, there's nothing you are doing. In fact, from the time you were elected, there's nothing that you've done which is sensible. Everything you are doing is just causing havoc, causing pandemonium, causing a lot of tension in this country. And I want to tell you that if you don't move with speed, we will move with speed. And this is a new team, the young blood, the fresh breath that is going to breathe breath into the dry bones of the problems facing Kenyans. Lastly, on the Haiti issue, the United States of America did state clearly at the Congress. They did mention that Ruto's interest is about making money in this country. That Ruto is just interested in making the 13 billion Kenya shillings and is not interested on the humanitarian part of taking care of interest of Kenyans. If you take these police officers who are fathers, who are children of others, who are relatives and friends of Kenyans, these people are going to be killed. We were being informed that at least 20,000 police officers should be deployed, at least 20,000 should be deployed in Haiti. Why do we want to take 1,000 officers? And these 1,000 officers are going to die. And we said, ukienda Haiti, utakuwa maiti. Kwa hivyo the police officers, it is a high time you must reject these orders. You cannot take everything. Thank you very much. Let me invite.
You know very well, politicians in this country have always adopted a way of movement from one county to the other, using helicopters. We are hearing even most of them have bought Boeings and aeroplanes to make them move from one county to the other. Lakini this is the ground team. Kwa hivyo tumesema ground team lazima tuongee maneno ambayo iko ground. Kwa hivyo ukituona hapa tukiwa pamoja, we are youthful, independent thinkers. We are the voices of the common wananchi, because the other team that was calling themselves the hustlers have now migrated from being hustlers to sky team. Kazi yao ni ku patronize the skies from one county to the other, flying with the helicopters, and they know nothing about mashinani. That is why they have the audacity of passing punitive and oppressive bills and policies without caring the status of the economy and the livelihoods of our people. So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, I welcome you on behalf of this team to the one and the premier presser from the youthful, intelligent voice of the common mwananchi, the ground team. Wacha niwapigie makofi kwa sababu the ground team is in charge. And therefore we are here to air our concerns concerning various issues that are touching the common mwananchi. And these are the issues that we have listened to our people. We have been following issues, and we feel that this is the right time for us to air our concern. I don't know whether I should start with the first concern, because I feel that if we do not speak now, that the skies are giving us rains, and farmers from Trans Nzoia, from Busia, from all over Kenya, including Kiambu, Meru, farmers are agonizing over the insensitive way of enabling them produce from their farms or from their fields. The president has been very vocal talking about subsidized seeds and subsidized fertilizers. But to our utter shock, the fertilizer that is out there being sold as subsidized fertilizer from outlets from National Cereals and Produce Board. And in this case, I'm talking about the fertilizer that the farmers are receiving messages on their phone that they qualify for subsidy program. It is adulterated fertilizer. The seeds that are available are fake seeds. And we are the farmers' voice, and we must call out the minister in charge of agriculture. The minister has appeared on television and on newspapers denying that there is no fake fertilizer. Yet, we are witnessing this kind of fertilizer every day. Yesterday, I was presented with 5 bags of fertilizer that is purported to be fertilizer, but it is fake stones mixed with donkey's poo. Donkey's poo is the waste from the donkey. Donkey's poo mixed with the stones. and it is being sold as subsidized fertilizer. We must call out this mess. The government has become so insensitive to the extent that now they are conning farmers. This is something that we want to see serious arrests. We want to know who is behind this scam. We want to know where did the fertilizer that was supposed to be real fertilizer go, and who is behind this serious, massive scam of taking advantage of our old and elderly farmers in our villages. This must stop, and every farmer who has been conned must be reimbursed their money. Every farmer who has been sold to fake seeds must be compensated by the government. It is in line with the Kenyan Constitution, the right to protection of property, that we are here speaking, so that we can make sure that the government follows and obeys the rule of law and provide the Kenyans farmers with what they are supposed to be given. So we want to know how much of that fertilizer in terms of quantity has been released into our villages. Because we are seeing 5 bags here, 10 bags here, 5 bags there. We want to see data from the Ministry of Agriculture. And the Minister of Agriculture, Bwana Linturi, must come out now and attack this issue, arrest this issue, and we want to see serious arrest being done by the ministry, by the government, and by the Ministry of Interior. This issue of conmanship must stop. Our farmers must be protected.
In the punitive finance bill, we saw what transpired when the executive was so vicious in making sure the bill passes. But when it comes to matters of national interest to the public, like the issue of health, you can see the laxity. We cannot have a country with doctors striking 64 years after independence, when Mzee Kenyatta used to talk about eradicating disease in this country. But they are not serious even in trying to address the issue of doctors. Doctors' career is one of the most lucrative careers that the youth of this country have hope in. But if you tell us that you can train to be a doctor and be punished by this regime, you can see where we are going. And that is why we've chosen to stand up and say, we are the future of this country and will not watch it go down the drain. We are saying, as team ground, that the government listens to the people, listens to the youth. They have promised us jobs for the youth, affordable housing, and so much is not going the way they promised us. We are demanding that the youth of this country be given employment. And employment is not sending people to Haiti to go die. We have a Haiti in Baringo, they should address that. We are not perfect as a country in matter of security. Address what we have now as a country before you send people to go die in foreign countries. On the issue of interns, these are people who have gone to school, spent a lot of money. It's only their right that they should be deployed as soon as tomorrow so that they can start serving this nation. We are saying to the regime of the day, one day they'll walk out of this power thing, and we are the ones who are going to take charge. And there is no government that has a right to sell the properties of this nation. The national heritage of this country, you cannot sell that, because you are going to render so many people jobless. These people are going to be fired. We are going to run this country like a mafia country, and we cannot sit and watch that happen. Thank you.
From the time of colonialism, from the fight for multipartism, from the fight for promulgation of the new constitution, and to the fight for devolution, every generation has had a chance to rise up and do what needed to be done. We are now called upon as a generation to rise up and do what needs to be done. We've fought democracy, we've fought new constitution, we've fought multipartism. Now it's time for economic emancipation. This is the duty of our generation. And we are here to announce that there is a new awakening. The young, the energetic, the charismatic, the revolutionary have arisen. And it's not going to be business as usual on the streets. We are going to rise up and take up our duty, our cardinal duty, to protect and preserve the interests of the local Mwananchi. On the issue of the health, it has been my proposal, even during the BBI and even the NADCO report, that we must have a health service commission. Just the way we have a teacher service commission. We no longer hear about a teacher strike. you need to ask yourself, why don't we have teacher strike that used to be a perennial menace in this republic? It's because we had a body that has a potential of interacting with the necessary government agencies to solve their issues. We need to have a health service commission that will take care of the overall problems of the health sector, whether it is from the nurses, the doctors' interest, or the overall status of our health system. And the Haiti system, I'm an international student, of master student. And I can tell you, there is no any iota of wisdom in the Haiti mission. There is no bilateral ties between Kenya and Haiti. There is no embassy of Kenya in Haiti. There is no Haitian embassy here in Kenya. There is absolutely no ties between Kenya and Haiti. We must be told in white and black what was the necessity of Kenya advancing towards Haiti. That is a UN problem. It is not a Kenyan problem. It's not a bilateral ties problem. It is not a country-to-country problem. Haiti is an internal matter. And under the UN Charter, no any nation on earth has the prerogative, the derogation to interfere with the internal affairs of another country. That is the interest and the mandate of the UN, not the Kenyan interest. So from the first time, we must be told what is the status of the Haiti mission, owing to the fact that the Congress have pronounced themselves against funding of this mission from the Biden administration. Thank you very much. I'll give.
Thank you very much. Mine will be brief. First of all, as members of parliament, we took an oath. And one of the last lines in our oath is that there's a word there that says conscientiously discharge our duties. It means all members of parliament should use their conscience. That is why when you saw some of us opposing the finance bill, we didn't do it purely because of whether you're in Azimio or even Kenya Kwanza. It's because we used our conscience. And we can see some of the things that are happening in our country are wrong. The first issue that I want to talk about is the issue that you've seen in the medical sector. We have our doctors that are on strike, and I also want to bring another issue of NHIF, because NHIF right now is refusing to make payments, especially in private hospitals. So we have so many people who have bills that they are unable to pay, and that means they are detained by the doctors or the hospitals. That is something that we must insist, and if the CS is unable to do that job, we'd ask her, step aside. Let somebody else take over and be able to handle that issue. The other issue I want to bring about is the issue that we've seen fighting illicit brew. And we want to state here, of course we do not want any alcohol that is killing people, especially what we've seen in the mountain region. But that should not be used to destroy businesses that have been there for years. So we must ensure that we follow the procedure that stops this illicit alcohol from there, but we ensure we protect those businesses. This is a time where Kenyans are looking to ensure that they get a form of employment, and if we destroy that catering industry, then where are we going to take all those young men and women? Where is the government going to collect taxes? And all those businesses are paying taxes. If you destroy that industry, it means those taxes will have to be pushed to the mamambogas and boda people in a different way. So that is something that must be looked after. Finally, I want to support what my colleagues have said. If we are going to dispose of Kenyan assets, we must ensure that these assets, there is a saving that remains to Kenyans, and more importantly, let us not dispose of infrastructure assets that in 5-10 years from now, we will be forced to go and reacquire them back. Because there are certain infrastructure assets, including Kenya Pipeline, the port. If you get rid of them, we've seen other countries do that. We've seen even in Zambia, they got rid of the electricity company there, and now they are trying to reacquire it back. So let us not make mistakes that we've seen with other countries. Let us ensure that this is an all-inclusive process. But more importantly, let us think of the youth of this country. This team that you're seeing here, this is the team ground. We will be going around the country. We will be telling people the truth. We will talk. And as the Deputy Minority Whip, I can assure you, the Azimio coalition remains strong, and we shall support and we shall fight for the people.
I can state categorically that we are now having a looming health crisis, and we will be supporting our doctors in this matter. If they are going to walk in the street, we are together because we are the ground street. So the Sky team has failed to listen to our doctors. Number two, the issues we are facing, we are in lacuna state. We don't have any IBC system in place. One constituency has gone almost a year without representation in the parliament. We are experiencing what we call constitutional crisis. We want full and immediate implementation of NANTICO report as soon as possible. The other issue of fertilizer, as you have heard and even witnessed, we have fake fertilizer, and I was shocked by one of the CS member here saying that we don't have a fake fertilizer, while our farmers are stressing it. We need that issue to be done away immediately, and if possible, if we come back to recess, we have to investigate this matter, and if it is true, the CS agriculture must go. We can't tolerate these issues. The other issue, of course, you have heard and you have all witnessed, the doctors have gone. What is so difficult for the CS and even the president to call for a crisis meeting to listen what doctors are hearing? My friends, we are not going to have business as usual. We have been quiet, but we are awake now. We have to talk what Kenyans are actually expressing to us. We are here as ground team to fight for the interests of Kenyans. Issue of privatization, 10% must be retained for the future generation. I say that.
Hey, I used to hear Ruto say he must finish the dynasty. Now he has become himself a dynasty. If I go back to his statement, even him, because he is a dynasty, he will be finished. You cannot be saying these dynasties must be finished and yet you are admiring to be one. Everything that he has done or promised, it's just like a short-lived dinner party anecdote. Immediately you are done with it, you go sleep, wake up to your problems. Kenyans are suffering. Everything that Ruto is doing, selling our properties, treating Kenyan properties like his personal property, selling a national bank, he's all over Mombasa Port, Kenya Seed, everything that he's been selling. My question is, how much is he saving for the future generation? We demand that 10% of every sale he has done, 10%, and every profit, the 10% must be saved for future generation. Otherwise, the way he's running this nation, he's running like the way he does the Sky team. You know, now he's leading the Sky team, flying blue. We do not want anything to do with his promises anymore. Kenyans must take charge of their lives starting today and do what will make their lives better. Because if you come to farmers, even the fertilizer that is being sold today is poison to the ground, poison to the products, cannot make the farmers get the yields they used to get to. I used to learn agriculture, and it was our backbone, I think something like that, the backbone of our nation. Now, if you go to the backbone of the nation and interfere with it, how do you expect to run a nation that is full of graves? Is he planning to bury people? Because now if we will not have enough food, where will we run to? If we cannot produce even our own, where do we run to? Because a proper leader foresees some things and has a plan to back to. What has he done since he had that now the fertilizer that was supplied was fake? Who supplied the fertilizer? Who won the tender? Why don't we see these people to explain to us why this fertilizer is chalk? Some of this fertilizer is chalk, it's not even stones. Yeah? And some fake poo. We don't know where they are getting the poo from. We want these people who supplied this fake fertilizer already behind bars, because we cannot be, every day is just something going wrong in Ruto's offices. So whoever is sitting wherever they are sitting, those offices, agriculture department, people dealing with health, everything is off. We need changes, and changes are here. We are going to steer ahead the changes that Kenyans want.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We are united here as Team Ground because we cannot sit and watch as the future of this country goes down the drain. There are issues that this government is so vicious about.